This video, I thought I'd do two spoiler-free book reviews. The first book review I thought I'd do is The Only One Left by Riley Sager. And the second one is The Night Guest. So the first book is The Only One Left. And in this book, our main protagonist, Kit Kat, is a caregiver. And she is taking care of Lenora, who is a 71-year-old, who when she was 16, lived in this beautiful house on the cliffside with her sister, mom and dad. And one night, her mom and dad were murdered, as well as her sister. But she was the only survivor. And the police couldn't find any proof that she was the one that did it, so she was set free. Well, now this caregiver, Kit Kat, is taking care of her. And Lenora mentions that she wants to tell her everything, the whole story of what happened that one night. Let me tell you all, this book, I found it to be good pacing. It is fairly long. It's around 380 something pages. And for the most part, the story is extremely intriguing. The only thing I will say is there are so many twists and turns that it kind of got boring, right? Like, I love a good twist and turn. I love a good, like, oh my God. And there were a couple of those, but there were so many that it kind of just felt like, no, like that's way too much. The writing is great. The plot was, I think, great. I believe I gave this book a 4 stars. However, I would probably give it a 4.5. It's a very good book. I highly recommend it if you're into that kind of stuff, identifying what's going to happen. The story is fed to you fairly slowly, and it's a lot of crazy things happening. And in the end, you're like, oh my God, oh my God. But I felt like it was just way too many twists and turns to be coincidence at this point. Yeah, if this is something like you're interested in, or the plot it's something that catches you, or if you read other Riley books, you're definitely going to enjoy this one. I fairly enjoyed it. I do felt it was a little too long. It could have been, I don't know, 50, 75 pages less, and I think it would have been okay. There's a lot of fluff in there, but for the most part, I fairly enjoyed it. Have you ever read a book that is so good, you're hooked into it, and you think it's one of the best books you've ever read, and then the ending isn't what you had hoped for, and then you were sure it was going to be a 5-star, but based on the ending, it turns out to be less than a 5 stars? Well, that is exactly what happened to me reading The Night Guest by, and I am so sorry, I think I'm going to butcher this, Hildur Knutsdottir? Anyways, I am so sorry if I mispronounced that, but this book, wow, roller coaster. It's not even a long book. I think I read it in a span of, I started it one night and I finished it the next day in the morning because it was just so good. I couldn't put it on. And it's not a long book. I believe it's only 200 pages. And essentially what it's about this main person of the story. She's always tired. She wakes up tired. She mentions it to her friends, and her friends are letting her know, like, have you gotten, good night's sleep? Have you been eating right? Have you been taking, supplements? To which she realizes she's healthy, and then she goes to see her doctor, and her doctor orders labs, and the labs come out normal. In that process, she decides to buy a smartwatch, almost like an Apple Watch, to count her steps while she's exercising or whatnot. Also to measure her sleep patterns. Well, the first night she wears her watch, she wakes up to her amazement, she's taken 32,000 steps overnight. Now, mind you, 32,000 steps is a lot. I don't even do 32,000 steps on a good day. So she thinks something's wrong with the watch. So she decides to not wear it the next day, but she leaves the watch on. She leaves it on her nightstand. And when she wakes up, she realizes, the watch actually registered 0 steps. So again, she decides to wear it again. And then once again, 30-something thousand steps. So she starts thinking something's odd. So what she does is she activates the GPS on her watch, and she tracks it for a couple of days, and she realizes that it's always leading to the exact same spot. she starts to wonder what is in that spot. Anyways, I don't want to give too much about it, but just that plot got me super hooked onto this book, and it made me want to continue to read it. However, the ending left a lot of questions, and I didn't like the ending. Out of the 5 stars, I would give this, I think I gave it a 4 on my Goodreads. However, I'm more inclined to give it a 3.5 just because of the ending. But other than that, I felt like this book was so good, so perfect. It kept me on the edge of the seat, and I felt like it was the perfect length of a book. Again, it's only about 200 pages. I fairly enjoyed it. I wish there was more to it. There is some supernatural stuff going on if that's your thing. But other than that, I do recommend it if you're into those type of books. But thank you. You know, if you like videos like this, please consider subscribing and liking my video. I appreciate you all.